Has your ad performance become more stagnant and unpredictable since the release of Meta's Andromeda update? If your ad performance is declining and you're producing more ads than ever and not getting acceptable results with Meta spending on just one advert in your ad set, then this video is for you. No, it's probably not your targeting, and no, you haven't been shadow banned. The issue is most likely to be that your adverts are not creatively diverse enough. Creative diversity is a term that I have seen mentioned a lot in the past months, and rightly so. It's an incredibly important concept. You will give Meta's Andromeda engine what it needs to efficiently target audiences, and if you can improve your creative diversity, you will drastically increase your chances of performing well on Meta. In this video, I'm going to explain what creative diversity is by showing you specific ad examples. I'm also going to go through our step-by-step framework on how to actually produce creatively diverse ads for Meta, which makes things incredibly straightforward and removes all of the guesswork. So if you stick around to the end, you should understand exactly what you need to do in order to get better results on Meta by leaning into creative diversity. Before we jump into it, I just want to answer the question why you should listen to what I have to say on this topic. I've been in marketing for over a decade. I've helped strategize over 12,000 ads, and I've helped manage over 50 million in ad spend and run thousands of creative tests within that time. In recent months, we've been spending a lot of time and effort on figuring out how direct-to-consumer brands can really take advantage of what Meta's latest Andromeda update has to offer. And the tests I've been running on creative diversity have led me, my team, and my clients to fundamentally change the way we approach ad creative production and ad creative strategy. And it's led to some pretty nice performance increases. So let's jump straight into it. Put simply, creative diversity means making sure your adverts are different enough so that Meta's new Andromeda update can effectively distribute your adverts based on what content people consume, what buyer motivations they have to make a purchase, and where they are within that overall customer journey. In our experience, the easiest way to do this is to make sure your ads speak to different avatars, where an avatar either responds favorably to certain types of content or different messages. For example, Avatar 1, who is buying a face cream, may respond well to an advert calling out dry skin, a problem they experience, and Avatar 2, who is buying the same face cream, may respond better to a video showing a morning face moisturizing routine. Before we move forward, it's important to understand that Andromeda is Meta's biggest rollout in recent times, and I won't go into all the detail on all the specifics, but it's had a huge impact on how ad creative is selected before it gets served to a Facebook user. One of the big differences now versus before, if your adverts are similar in the eyes of Meta's algorithm, Meta will treat them as the same advert, and this will have an impact on your performance, data, and learnings. So the challenge becomes, how do we make sure our ads are different enough to each other, but still relevant to our customers? This is where creative diversity comes into play. When it comes to creative diversity, there's one major problem that I see brands repeat all the time. They think they are being creatively diverse and they are making more ads than ever, but usually what happens is that only one advert, maybe two, receive all of the ad spend from Meta within their creative batch, and the rest of the ads end up not spending. This issue can happen for a few reasons, but a major reason for this is that Meta does not consider the set of ads to be creatively diverse enough. It thinks that the majority of the ad concepts effectively say the same thing to the same person. So it's picked the one which it thinks is going to do the best, and then it doubles down and triples down in that direction. Let's take a look at what creative diversity is not. Here we have 5 static ads. In my opinion, they pretty much say the same thing to the same person. Here's what it feels like, or here's what it could look like and feel like if you were to wear our sunglasses. I would consider these variations of the same ad concept. Product on model with some studio and lifestyle execution styles. Now, let's look at what creative diversity is. Here we have 4 fundamentally different ads. To give some context, the brand is advertising a hoodie that is designed for traveling. The first advert is a static advert that shows a testimonial from a customer. The second advert is a video that lists the features with text overlay and shows the features in a multi-grid layout. The third advert is a UGC review style that highlights the features and ties the story back to traveling. The fourth advert is a UGC explainer shot in the context of traveling at the airport. All of these ads are advertising the same product, the hoodie, for the same purpose. It's good for traveling, but they communicate these things in completely different ways. If you were to launch these ads, Meta would definitely consider these creatively diverse, and you'll be able to lean into Andromeda's benefits. So, okay, by now, hopefully you have a good understanding of what we mean by creative diversity. What I want you to do now is show you exactly how you can strategize creatively diverse ads for your brand by sharing our step-by-step process. There are going to be 3 steps here, and we'll go into each step in detail. The first step is identify buyer motivations. The second step is identify ad angles, and the third step is identify creative concepts. So the first thing we want to write down and identify as many buyer motivations as possible. Buyer motivations are the underlying reasons someone would want to buy your product. They're the problems they want to solve, the outcomes they want to achieve, or the emotional needs that they want to satisfy. It's also important to know different customers can buy the same product for completely different reasons. One person may care about convenience, another about saving money, whilst someone else may be motivated by confidence, status, or performance. Brainstorming buyer motivations can be a bit tedious, and we tend to do research into things like customer reviews, interviews, Reddit, customer support, surveys, competitor reviews, founder knowledge, comments on ads. Now let's use the travel hoodie as an example. Some buyer motivations might be things like travel with less luggage, keep valuables secure while traveling, reduce the stress of traveling, stay comfortable while traveling, and travel more efficiently. Once you have your buyer motivations, the second step is to translate these into ad angles. I think of ad angles as the link that a customer is going to make from an advert to a buyer motivation, essentially turning that buyer motivation into a story we can tell through a variety of different formats and executions, of course. They're kind of like narratives for the adverts that we will produce. Let's take travel with less luggage as an example buyer motivation. We could come up with a few different ad angles here. The hoodie that works like a wearable carry-on, one bag travel made easier, or the solution to an overpacked bag. The third thing we want to do, once we have our list of buyer motivations and ad angles, is identify creative concepts. Creative concepts bridge the gap between strategy and production. They transform an ad angle into a clear advertising idea that can be executed in multiple formats, such as UGC, founder videos, product demonstrations, or static images. Let's use the travel with less luggage buyer motivation and the hoodie that works like a wearable carry-on ad angle for an example here. Concept 1 could be a static flat lay image that shows you all the stuff you can fit into a hoodie alongside the hoodie. Concept 2 could be a static model in the studio with a review overlay talking about their positive experience related to traveling with less luggage because of this hoodie. Concept 3 could be the founder talking about why they made the hoodie, relating the story back to wanting to travel with less luggage. Concept 4 could be a UGC video review showing how much can fit in the hoodie and telling the story of how it worked well on their last holiday. Once you have a batch of creative concepts that put together, make sure you do a sense check. Try to make sure that these creative concepts are clearly differentiated. And that's the process. The reason we start with buyer motivations instead of jumping straight into ad ideas is because it forces us to think about different reasons people buy. Each motivation naturally leads to different advertising angles, and each angle can be expressed through multiple creative concepts. By the time you reach production, you've built diversity into the strategy rather than hoping to find it through more executions and variations. So, to recap, we've spoken about what creative diversity is. We've talked about common misconceptions and problems when it comes to creative diversity. We've gone through and seen examples of what creative diversity is not and what creative diversity is. And we've walked you through our 3-step process to producing creatively diverse ads. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or DM me. If you did get some value out of this video, please like and subscribe. It goes a long way to help me grow this channel. See you in the next one.